there's no way that brands are becoming less important. They're becoming more important. And the reason they're becoming more important is in this explosion of choice, this explosion of channels where actually you can be bombarded by very, very targeted, very sophisticated messages every day with you, in your face, on the street, wherever. You need a brand to help you navigate some of this madness, because human beings are not going to be able to stay awake for that much longer reading all this stuff that is being thrown at them. They want brands that they can trust. And that's why it's really important for all of us to really think about how we're going to build brands for the long term in this very, very confusing and very, very fragmented age, because the rewards are enormous. And the damage, if you don't do it properly, is also enormous too. I think it's very interesting. When you were asked to do a speech about digital branding and so on, I know that people expect you to show sexy YouTube videos and social media campaigns and cognitive marketing. They want you to show a lot of these very new initiatives. And I'm very happy to do that, but here's the killer insight about successful branding in the digital age. You've got to be a really, really good business in the first place. You've got to have a business where your staff, your employees really care about what you do and they know why they're doing it. If they don't care, they're not going to build strong relationships with customers. Because, again, in this very transparent age, if you're not doing good on the inside, you will not be doing good on the outside for customers. And so, therefore, if you have people, your staff who love you, they will tell other people. If you have customers who love you, they will tell other people. That is free. You don't have to pay for expensive marketing campaigns to get people to love you, but there is a very, very important role for marketing people and marketing teams and marketing leaders in this age, which is that those marketeers can inspire businesses, can inspire the people within those businesses to do their very best for the customer, to do their very best to build a consistent idea behind a brand that customers are going to relate to. It's becoming even more important now to really follow the key characteristics, the key properties of very, very strong brands, because these properties are the same whether you're building a brand in a virtual space, whether you're building an online brand, whether you're building a new store, whether you're building a new product, an app, whatever it is. There are still core principles that need to work. They show up in different ways, but those principles are, number one, clarity. Clarity of who you are and what you stand for as a brand. And in that, I have to say that purpose beats positioning. It eats positioning for breakfast. Let's put it that way. I'm sure you've heard the term culture eats strategy for breakfast. So clarity, you've got to be clear about what you stand for and make sure everybody in the organisation knows that, and that that's going to be relevant, of course, to your customers outside. The second quality, though, is coherence, how that clarity shows up through everything you do on the inside and on the outside and right across the customer experience, whether or not that's very, very finely targeting, very, very finely personalising. But nevertheless, what your brand stands for needs to show up to that individual customer. Now, the final characteristics, whether it's for business leaders, for marketing leaders or whatever, is about their leadership. How are they symbolising all the best values of their brand when they're talking about it, when they're writing about it, when they're talking to employees about it, as well as stakeholders more broadly? You need to show leadership, but also that leadership is in terms of setting the agenda. It's about innovation, it's about restlessness, it's about making sure that you are moving forward and renewing your brand all the time. Because that's what's happening in today's marketplaces. You need to keep that dynamism going, thinking about what's next, what's new, how can we really use that for our brand. Those three characteristics are really relevant in any age, now and in the future. Sometimes I know it's tempting for companies to think about, here's the business strategy and there's the brand strategy, and the brand strategy is looked after by the marketing department. But actually, the most successful businesses don't see a distinction between brand strategy and business strategy, because after all, your brand is your most important asset. That is the thing that's going to generate sustainable value for that business after people have died, after they've left the organisation, when your office has fallen down or you've moved somewhere else, the thing that will live on is your brand. And that means that your whole business needs to support the brand and the brand needs to support the business. Now, if you follow that, that means you'll add value to every part of your operations, the way you do business, how you recruit people and so on. The brand adds value to every aspect of business. It gives its distinctiveness and longevity and keeps generating long-term sustainable value. So stop looking at in organisations as there's the business and there's the brand. These two things are together. And if you don't believe me, read the words of Howard Schultz of Starbucks, who says, "I don't run a business, I run a brand." Because to him, it's the same thing. He's wanting to build a valuable enterprise. And the way you build a truly valuable enterprise is through building a branded enterprise. Because it's so important now for organisations to realise that whatever they do on the inside gets to the outside, and it's very important to have strong relationships amongst your employees right across the business, and because those employees are going to be the people who develop relationships with customers on the outside. What happens inside goes to the outside. And what's more, if we're going to build reliably valuable businesses, we need to build valuable relationships with customers. So what that means is you need to treat your employees like human beings so that they behave like human beings to your customers, the people in your organisation. And it was so interesting. Anita Roddick, before she died, and in fact the last time I saw Anita Roddick was when she was here in Prague. That was many, many years ago. And I remember what she said. She said, "We were searching for employees, but people turned up instead." That is one of the best examples of this philosophy, which is you need to treat your own employees as individuals, as people who've got motivations and feelings. They need to feel good about what it is that they're doing. Because if they feel good about what they're doing, they'll make sure that customers feel good. You've got to match the inside with the outside. And there is no other way, in my view, about working in business in the modern age other than being human, building relationships both inside and outside, because that's what we all need and that's what makes businesses to succeed.